Hey, good afternoon, Azure TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh gosh, my voice isn't right for this, but I gotta speak on this. Yeah, let me share this. And oh, before I get going, I'd appreciate you if you press one in the chat room if you can hear me loud enough, clear enough. And let me do okay. And let me go through the whole fair use procedure while I'm at it. Thank you. And how you doing, Penisoy? Good afternoon. FBI warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Once again, good afternoon. And let me warn you, well, let me first tell you, forgive me my voice. I already explained why it is that I naturally have a somewhat deeper voice as an alto, but I explain why my voice is as deep as it is, and it also goes out very easily. And I have been talking a lot. Okay, yeah, something happened years ago back in the '90s where I used to sing, got laryngitis, like back to back, and then the third time I got it, I just know my voice was never the same again, and so it very easily goes out. So my voice is is gonna be not as, especially after the talking I've been doing this weekend, but I gotta speak on this. I have to speak my mind on this, even though I'm supposed to be letting my voice rest, at least my voice for a couple of days. But you know, I'm gonna talk. But yeah. So let me in sharing this some of this footage to give you a reminder. Forgive me, but know that as it says here, warning, the following video contains graphic content that may be disturbing to some viewers. It's disturbing. Discretion is advised. Okay, and I'm sharing this police activity, the channel being police activity, and this was uploaded, shared 2 years ago, July 22nd, 2024. Body cam footage. I'm trying to find on my channel because somebody had did it like a 3D kind of rendering of what happened. That I've been trying to find because I think, yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was like AI, it was like a 3D rendering. That I've been trying to find. But this has been 2 years, right? So maybe I'd have to, because I do recall sharing it um, on on my community tab, I believe on this channel. But I've been like scrolling back, and I can't quite find it because I would prefer to show that. But sorry, I gotta take y'all back down. Yeah, memory lane with this because I know this is disturbing. But Yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's actually been like 2 years. Wow, it just seemed like it was last year. Uh, but once again, warning: the following video contains graphic content that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. How you doing, Keandre? And press. I'd appreciate you also pressing one once again once you're able to hear this video. I'm not gonna play it all. Now, yeah, let me fast forward. Now, I believe that Sonya Massey, from what I recall, Sonya Massey was the one who called the authorities, and I do believe that also that she was dealing with some herself. Like I believe she was diagnosed as dealing with some sort of mental disorder, but nothing. Yeah, but I don't. She was of no threat. And you see, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna play from here. They're here in my house right now. Yeah, I got the sheriff department here, but I'm coming to work for y'all. They're here in my house right now. So she called the authorities because what was it? I believe she was hearing. So she was the one who called authorities, although, and she was alone. She had some concerns. I believe what it was that she believed she heard noises or she heard. I thought someone was trying to break it, something like that. Um, yeah, she was. So she was. As you see, she's in her like in a night robe and slippers and scarf, and of no threat. Nothing about this woman, and this being a little woman, that would have caused these men to feel threatened in any sort of manner. That's that right there, maybe. So she had no idea that what was gonna happen was gonna happen. We don't need fire over here. Right, and I believe they told her, from what I recall. I'm not playing all of this because I know I make these long enough. I recall that they told her to go over. From what I recall, it's been I guess 2 years now. They told her to because she had something like cooking on the stove, and yeah, and I would have been able to tell that she was I don't want to say like mentally, but yeah, I would have been able to tell easily that she was. I guess I'll compare her to being like an elderly woman, who's there, even if she's not all there upstairs. But in other words, what I'm trying to say is, anybody could tell that something a little off, but she was of no threat. Okay, I would have been able to tell that maybe she may have like a mental disorder, something like that, or maybe yeah, but she was of no threat.
What paperwork? What paperwork?
I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID. Well, let's get your ID first, and then one tax at a time.
Okay.
Your ID.
Like maybe dealing with something like let's say obsessive compulsive or something like that.
Okay.
Your ID, one tax at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID
You
is.
have a stack right there, maybe.
One second.
I
Let me get this.
We don't need fire over here.
Alright. Let's see.
Huh? Oh, wait, we're hot in water.
Hot in the water?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's what, almost like she called out a demon or something. Yeah, because I guess she noticed that he was like backing away. That's what I'm assuming. Yes, she noticed, and you could tell by the footage. She noticed that the officer was like backing away, as if, like he's worried about something. And for whatever reason, she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And that was enough to get this white man, who probably saw himself as a quote unquote Christian. That was enough, almost as if, despite this woman perhaps herself being on some sort of medication for, let's say, some sort of psychological disorder or whatever, it's almost like she was still able to detect something wicked and off with this man. For her to say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Almost like, okay, I see you. Something, for him to even, be, and I understand officers have to take precautions and all that. Even in the case of an older woman or a little lady, but he's backing up, like, oh, just, you know. Now, who would feel threatened by her going in the kitchen, grabbing the pot? But this is what triggered him. Would you say he's rebuked now? Oh, I hear you. 1D forever.
Yeah. Huh? You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you every fucking face.
Now, how was all that? What called for, how was all that called for? Now, you better, and somebody, I wish I could find that. I know I had posted it in my community tab. I don't think I would have removed it. But the 3D rendering, because I couldn't believe that, quote unquote, Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian, you know what I mean, podcast, who was with Blad TV. I can't believe that he said she was trying to hit him with a pot or throw the pot of water on him. He actually said that. Somebody had did a really good 3D rendering, so you could better clearly see, without all the stuff on the, what had happened.
Yeah. Huh? You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you every fucking face. Drop the fucking pot! The fucking drop the fucking pot!
So she lifted, because she was already with the pot holders, with the pot. So she lifted the pot, kind of like, a reaction, like she was scared, like almost like a shield, just something you would do automatically, There was not any sort of action, as you saw, no movement, no action, as if she was going to toss it. It was like she was, just a reaction, and you heard her even say, I'm sorry. Because she realized now that they were angered. And somebody, talking to you like that, and he doing all that excessive screaming, even though she's already dropped to the ground. She lowered her body even before he started shooting. She was lowering her body.
Pretty yes, now we're gonna headshot with the female. Headshot with the female. Hit 78. Fuck. I was on. I'm gonna go get my kick. Headshot. You're done. You go get it and then headshot.
And they said how many times? I know she got at least one to the face. Because I believe that she was hit more than once. I didn't see this over here. The partner testifies in trial. I'm gonna have to put this in my history because I'm seeing this over here to the right. But yeah, let's read about what's happened since then. I'm gonna be reading from yeah, read this together. Uh the oh goodness, I'm getting triggered all over again. Yeah. But reading from theguardian.com. All right. This just recently uploaded. Sean Grayson, who was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023. So he already knew that he had cancer. Yeah. So, and some of these illnesses may just be the result of demons within people, was serving a 20-year sentence for second-degree murder. Wait, what's it says? Wait, this didn't hold up. I had the article here and now I don't. Give me a second. Yeah, I gotta pay now. Oh, okay, hold on. This is one of those. Oh, okay. So I was about to say the article was here. Oh, I'm sorry. Former Illinois sheriff deputy who killed Sonya Massey in her home dies, age 32. The former Illinois sheriff's deputy convicted of fatally unalive shooting Sonya Massey in her home after she reported a possible prowler to 911 has died, his attorney said on Sunday. Sean Grayson died on Sunday. Lawyer Daniel Foltz, who represented the ex-Sangamon County deputy at his trial, told NBC News and CBS News. No cause of death was given, but Grayson, 32, was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023. The cancer has spread to his liver and lungs, his legal team disclosed at his sentencing in January. Grayson was 6 months into a 20-year sentence for a second-degree murder conviction in connection with Massey's killing. In July, he had been denied a medical release by the Illinois Prisoner Review Board. Grayson, who was white, shot Massey, a black woman, to death in an encounter on July 6, 2024 that was captured on body-worn camera footage. It showed Grayson and another deputy entered Massey's home in Springfield, Illinois, so I have a relative, to investigate reports of a prowler Massey had called in. Massey then picked up, this is a picture of her here, Massey then picked up a pot of boiling water from her stove, prompting Grayson to back away, according to court testimony. Grayson later testified that he believed Massey was going to throw the boiling water on him after she twice said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." But notice, he was backing up. Just now, he's seeing that she's turning off the stove, getting the pot of water off. Obviously he wanted a reason. That was the only thing that he could. He wanted to take somebody out. He wanted to take somebody black out. Okay, and I'll use her grabbing this pot of water, even though they had told her, yeah, she was turning off because they're talking about we don't want a fire up in here, and they're looking all around her house and. He backed up even before when he saw that she was just, removing a pot from the stove as a person would do. Probably not wanting her noodles or whatever to get, or whatever. I don't think she was exactly. But anyways, Massey then picked up a pot of boiling water from her stove, prompting Grayson to back away. Oh, yes, she didn't have any food in the pot, according to court testimony. Grayson later testified that he believed Massey was going to throw the boiling pot of boiling water on him after she twice said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." He said he perceived the remark to be a threat. Oh, goodness. He then pointed his gun at Massey and threatened to shoot her, according to body camera video. She apologized, and you heard her say, "I'm sorry," and dropped to the floor. But he fired 3 times, striking the 36-year-old single mother in the face. At trial, jurors heard that Grayson had declined to offer medical care. Illinois prosecutor Mary Beth Rogers said in court, "I'm sorry. That is the last thing Sonya Massey said before the defendant murdered her. just like he said he would. The case sparked protests over systemic racism and a U.S. Justice Department review. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, signed the Sonya Massey Act, a law requiring stricter background checks for law enforcement hires. And Sangamon County officials also agreed in early 2025 to a $10 million settlement for Massey's family. Grayson apologized for Massey's death at his January sentencing, but in his petition for early release on medical grounds, he wrote, "Massey had attacked me with a pot of boiling water." So you see, he was still sticking to that BS claim. The Sangamon County State's Attorney John Milheiser opposed Grayson's petition, calling early release under the circumstances a miscarriage of justice and an insult to Sonya Massey's memory and family. Attorneys for Massey's family, Ben Crump and Antonio Ramanucci, said the review board had made the right decision. No one is above accountability, and a badge does not provide an early way out, they added. Pritzker said in a statement that Illinois law requires the prisoner review board to consider medical release requests. He called Massey's killing a profound loss. Sonya was innocent, unarmed, and calling law enforcement for help, he said. It was a painful reminder that too many innocent black Americans have faced this kind of violence and they deserve justice. Now here she is, this woman, calling the authorities. I mean, that's just crazy. You know, she had no idea. No idea. So that just makes you, that makes you believe that anytime you have any encounter that with the authorities, that something like that could happen. It could just be a thing that you just like moving your arm a certain way. Now here you have a woman in a vulnerable situation in a nightgown and scarf and slippers, and something like this happened. Right. That's what I recall. The cops, they told her while she was sitting there looking for the papers, and anybody could see that, she may have been like, with, like some sort of, perhaps psychological, like a hoarder, or, stay in a house. I'm not saying that she was a hoarder. I'm just saying anybody would have been able to tell that, she's not, I'm not calling her crazy or anything like that. I'm not, but, she was absolutely of no threat. So the only reason I'm saying this, because any trained person should, or any person with any sort of common sense would know to be a little patient. Especially they show the footage in a room, it's kind of messy, and, it wasn't necessarily nasty, but messy, kind of like similar to like if, you were to go into a house of a hoarder, or someone, because I could see that there was like quite a bit of not filthiness, but disorganization, So that would have told me, be a little patient. It may take a little time for her to, she's trying to find information, and yet they came off as kind of, obviously impatient. Yeah, but she absolutely, you can see that she was just, I couldn't believe that Jamar said that. That anybody could see that she was, being that she was already like kind of holding the pad, it was a reaction to like fear, and she was lowering her body. Who throws something as they're lowering their body? She was lowering herself, like, I'm sorry, like kind of ducking behind the pot. Like as if, she knew, okay, this man may react and shoot me. By the way, how you doing, 1T forever? Yeah, so he has died. And I wanted to also talk about, because I've just seen the video that you shared in your tab on the whole Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf. And as y'all know, I had been trying for a minute to avoid this case. In fact, I didn't even know that this was something that happened like over a year ago. I didn't know. Because I honestly, I was trying to avoid, but, and I know my husband kept on trying to show me things. And yeah, so eventually, I peeked into, uh, yeah, just as I've been, a lot of these cases I've been trying to avoid because, I know how I get. And next thing you know, I'm continuously talking about this or looking into it, getting upset, and being, especially considering I'm one who not only watch videos, but I read comments, seeing how people are thinking, how people are responding, and I get very triggered very easily, get very emotional. So it's not healthy. So I had decided to just kind of not. Yeah, he already knew they said he was diagnosed in 2023 in colon cancer. He was already at stage 3 in 2023. So, like I say, you never know. Certain things, demons that are already in you. Maybe, well, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go to, I'm trying to remind myself that, I'm a Bible believer. But in consideration of, you know, could this be, being that, could we be witnessing more and more judgment? Because it seemed for years as if they've been doing acts like this and just straight up getting away with it, you know? And it seemed like it's been this way for years. You know, but now, yeah, I'm noticing more and more, and even in consideration of this Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony situation. Now, I understand when I initially decided to respond, it was just like little bits and pieces. I didn't really know the details and kind of, yeah, when I was speaking on it. And also, I felt it was pointless for me, being that I'm now late in learning about this. I felt it was kind of not good for me to even speak on it or learn more. Because one thing I've realized, you got to, if you're going to follow these cases, these reports, especially when it's incidents like this, when it's involving race and tragedy and somebody being unalived, and yeah, you need to catch the report from the very beginning. You need to hear witness testimony from the very beginning, because I've noticed how things change, how people change their stories, how there are new things that people come out and say that they didn't say initially. And being that I'm kind of late in learning the details on this. See, I'm wondering like for instance, what did those who witnessed the altercation with Carmelo Anthony, what were the kids initially saying? What were the high school students? Because now I'm hearing all this new stuff. Oh yeah, we knew that Carmelo. Yeah, that. But going by what I do know, because this is just something like, even like it with, I definitely learned that in the case with like Trayvon Martin. Notice how, or either that, or you'll initially, because I usually go for like something, got to pick up on the initial news reports, the local news reports, before it hits like the TMZs and all of that, you know? And that's what I had realized, like in the case with that, the Uber driver lady, Lolitha Hall was her name, shot by the old white man, William Brock. I had realized, there was, from a local news site, there was this lengthier footage, that, like what was, I believe, the more of the original footage, and how they, yeah, and that was the only place where I was able to find that footage. And I noticed that the way that it was reported to us, it was a lot more, yeah. Yeah, still, I can't say. I can only go by, with the Nolan Wells, honestly, I have not looked into a lengthy report. I just been going by like what y'all been telling me, what the headline, like, just reading video titles and everything. Yeah, but let me share this going into, but let me get this part out the way. Now I know that I upset some people. I still stand by what I say. I do value human life. Now, initially, when I heard about this, I know it was an altercation, like at school, on the school campus, whatever, under a tent, where, a guy, hold on, pretty much like this. Let me do this share. Let me.
And then he
I hate the way that they have it with this, with the TikTok.
reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see. Anthony was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see what happens. Metcalf then touched Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony then, according to a witness, says, quote, punch me and see what happens. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony again, and that is when witnesses say that Anthony took a knife out of that backpack and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. Austin then grabbed his chest and called for help. He would die in his twin brother's arms. Anthony was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see what happens. Metcalf then touched Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony then, according to a witness, says, quote, punch me and see what happens. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony again, and that is when witnesses say that Anthony took a knife out of that backpack and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. Austin then grabbed his chest and called for help. He would die in his twin brother's arms.
And so understand, that's how, I'm pretty sure y'all heard that, right? That's pretty much how I heard it initially. Do you understand? Being that I was, just not wanting to really, know too much detail. I was doing my best to try to avoid. So understand, that's how I initially heard it. So when you hear it like that, okay? And this is, and understand, so I initially heard it with these pictures being shown, right? That's how I initially, I guess you could say, heard. Oh, wait, hold on. So I'm just trying to open this image. That's how I need, just like that, basically. So, and this is the picture being shown. So, of course, I'm seeing two kids here. All right? I'm seeing two kids. Now, one photo is a mugshot. They're both obviously kids. And the other, a kid, looked like he's smiling, looking at the hair and all that. Now, you can say, am I admitting to a certain bias? I'm going to say this. It does make a difference. That's what they were claiming with Trayvon Martin, right? Because I didn't see him. I'm gonna just say it like this. Looking at the pictures, I saw them both as kids. And we all know kids of any size can be a bully. But I saw like a small kid here. Right? So, and when you see it like that, you see in a picture like that, and this is what I hear.
He was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see what happens. Metcalf then touched Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony then, according to a witness, says, quote, punch me and see what happens. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony again, and that is when witnesses say that Anthony took a knife out of that backpack and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. Austin then grabbed his chest and called for help. He would die in his twin brother's arms. Anthony.
Okay. So, as a mother, as a human being, as a person who do value human life, and I don't want anybody to go through, anybody of any race to go through losing a child, okay? And I don't want any parent to also go through their child going to prison for the rest of their life, or for, well, pretty much the rest of their life, something that could have been avoided. So my reaction, my initial response, I wish it had not ended in someone getting stabbed. And I still feel that way. Being that this was also something that was said to have happened like on school grounds. Unlike, let's say, if it was something like an altercation outside somewhere, where, you know, I wouldn't expect for people at school to, you know what I'm saying? It be where it's a life-threatening situation like that. But of course, this is today, right? Where you would feel, yeah, because I do feel like, and I stand by this, that you should not take anyone's life unless it is a case of where you fear your life or the life of your loved ones is going to be taken or severely harmed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I just think somebody's gonna like harm my child, okay, all right, and I still stand by that. And so let's get this part out the way. And also, I'm still seeing kids, right? I'm still seeing Healy, even though they got him here with a mugshot. I still see a kid. I see a kid on the left, and I see a kid on the right. And I can't help, as a mother with motherly instinct, and I'm not going to, not going to apologize for that, for what is just motherly instinct. That ain't mammy instinct, but motherly instinct. I can't help but feel for both lives. But let me get this part out of the way. And then let me get this part out the way with the text messages. But first I want to address with Karmelo Anthony, what was said to be yeah. Okay, now they have these. Now, when I heard that Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years, yeah, I felt, yeah, that's definitely too long. And then also you compare that to, yeah, who's the woman with the Chris Oboselli, the white female who stabbed her boyfriend in the neck, and unlike, she only got 5 years. Yeah, that I do still feel that's BS. But now, let me get this out the way. Let me get this part out the way first, because I know what people gonna come with. Yeah. Now, more recently, there have been revealing these documents showing Karmelo Anthony's some text messages over the years, okay, that have been revealed more recently, like this past week. Okay, he's texting to his girlfriend at that time, or in regards to his girlfriend. The text, there's one from 2024 where Karmelo Anthony is saying, "I'm shooting her." And it says, on or about June 10th, 2024, the defendant, Karmelo Anthony, threatened, I guess, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, and this statement was made. Now, obviously, this is it is taken out of context of the conversation, yet and still, leaving statements like, or making statements, texting statements, how many bullets you want coming out of your chest. I'ma beat you. Okay, and they say on about June 16, 2024, the defendant threatened, I guess it's ex-girlfriend or whoever, saying, I'ma beat you. On or about July 23rd, 2024, the defendant expressed, yeah, wait, let me, okay. He also left, and now this is October 10, 2024, left a text. When I stabbed somebody, I guess he was responding to his girlfriend. Or when I stabbed somebody, wait, who did they say he was responding to? Was this to the girlfriend? When I stab somebody, I'm going to lick the blood off the blade. Another text from going back to 2021. And okay, they're claiming that this is proof that he's admitted to hitting a girl. Okay. But know this, Karmelo Anthony, I don't believe that he has any arrest records. They're claiming that he has been, I don't think they provided documented evidence, but there are claims that he has been, there's been like maybe disciplinary action at school, or he may have had, even though I don't think they provide any actual receipts, but there's claims that he has been, I guess, like disciplined in school before, but he has no actual arrest records. But although I do believe, it's different with the Metcalf brothers. Okay, but what they're going by, it's mainly with these texts. Oh, and they said at 6 or 7 years old, he said, I'm going to punch somebody or something. But I'm like, 6 or 7 years old. Okay, I ain't even looking at that. But okay, this is from 2021. And he's texting someone, and Karmelo Anthony states, and I said the name Vicky, and she tried to start hitting me, and I was running till she pulled my hair, and she started hitting me, so I punched her in her face. Okay, so this is a text. So he's basically saying, now we don't know when, he could be talking about something that happened when he was in 5th grade, or something that happened, recently, or, in 2021. But he's just, telling the story. Yeah, so he's saying that he punched a girl in the face after she pulled his hair. Yeah, he said, and I said the name Vicky, and she tried to start hitting me. So he's saying that some girl was hitting him, started hitting him. And he said he was running, like almost like he was trying to get away, until she pulled his hair and she started hitting him. So he punched her in the face. Now, some could say, see, that's proof he hit a girl. But then others could say, well, she hit him first, and that's self-defense, right? But they're claiming this is showing that he had a violent past, that he's admitted to hitting a girl for. And also they got a text from him that says, this is from April 14th, and they're saying unknown direction, April 14th, 2023. Okay, I'm going to shoot the school up. TMR, I'm assuming that's for tomorrow. I'm going to shoot the school up tomorrow. Now, that's 2 years prior to the incident, but he doesn't have any record, any sort of police record, anything like that. All right? Yeah, so I have to address that, get that out of the way. Now, what I think of them text messages, I think they're horrific. There's no reason to be saying stuff I absolutely do not approve. There's absolutely no reason to be saying things or even joking about shooting up a school. I don't play that. I don't think I'm not going to defend that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not going to defend that. That ain't cool at all. That's not cool at all. I don't even, not even if you're joking. You don't joke like that. Or joke about how many bullets you want in your chest. That ain't cool. I'm not cool with that at all. So you are not going to get me. I don't care if this person is black, If they were a black female, I don't care. If they underage, that ain't cool. I don't like that. And I'm going to say it, that ain't us. I'm not with this. We all have kids that go to school. So I'm not with this kind of talking. I don't care what the context is. I'm not with this. So let me get that out the way. And don't try to make me, if you want to call me a raccoon or whatever, I don't care. I'm not with this kind of talk. However, he doesn't have a record. Karmelo Anthony doesn't have a record, and this was, from the time that he posted this, this was 2 years prior. So there are some people who believe that what happened with Austin Metcalf, Karmelo Anthony, or what Karmelo Anthony did to Austin Metcalf, they believe that it was premeditated, considering these texts. Definitely now considering these texts. They believe that, and I see that people are responding. They're responding that, okay, lick the blood off the blade. What the F? That's a very primal thing to say. There's tough talking, and then there's saying some straight up demonic ish. He should have gotten the death penalty. This is what they're saying. He deserved the death penalty. I wasn't racist until 2020. Now it's over. Yeah, there's a person now, they're saying, how you doing, Antoine Grady? Yeah. But I'm going to ask you this, Antoine Grady. I know that you're kind of comical and stuff, but right now, kind of, chill with the laugh emojis and all that. At least for a minute when I'm talking on this. Because I'm talking on something serious. Because I'm going to consider the character in the chat room. And there's certain vibes I don't want. Like, we not going to joke on things like this. I'm not with that. I take life seriously. Especially when it's regarding children, schools, and, Yeah, and supposedly, see, this is the thing. Somebody saying that's not how a future engineer talk. Because I do believe Karmelo, from what I believe I heard, y'all inform me. Didn't they say he was like when it came to, the academics and all, he was a good student, pretty smart. See, this isn't even, and this is what I want to get to. Karmelo Anthony is not even this thug stereotype that they try to paint black people as being. What they would typically, when they're trying to make their case about how we commit 30% of the crimes, although we're only 13%. They know how to use numbers and percentages when convenient. Although we're only 13. And usually this image that they give you, or this idea that they give you of the black thug, the Pookie Ray Ray. No, Karmelo Anthony's not no Pookie Ray Ray. You know what, Karmelo Anthony, with that kind of talk, he's actually a product, what I would believe. Now, I don't know exactly what neighborhood and stuff he was in. The product of the suburban. No, people like that in the hood don't joke like that. Ghetto people don't joke like that, do they? If we're going to stereotype. See, he's not even, he definitely does not in any way look like a bully or what they would usually, try to give you this image of the black thug, right? They said that he was yeah, that's what I was figuring too. Azure TV with Sean Grayson. I think he knew he had cancer. It was terminal. He became bitter that his body was already failing him at such a young age. But you know what? Some things, though, I gotta wonder if it's also about demons that's already in you. all of his darkest, most evil instincts started to surface. Yeah, and Sonya Massey spotted it. She spotted it. That's why she said, I rebuke you. So 3.7 GPA, huh? And see, I know Thug brothers, the Thug, shall I say brothers, but those I know in the hood are the ones that y'all see, they don't really say stuff like this. When I say I'm gonna lick their blood off the blade, that stuff, that's the 4chan following. Yeah. So I'm like, when the black kids start talking like this? Whole nother generation. But there are some people who think that it was premeditated. Like maybe he knew, and why would it be premeditated? Why would he want to, let's say if it was premeditated? Okay, if he did want an excuse, and I'm not saying that makes it justified, okay? But what if he did want an excuse to, like he knew that, what was it a case where Karmelo Anthony knew that Austin Metcalf would react to him in a certain way? But why would he believe that? So that he could, maybe it was something, and I'm gonna pull a George Zimmerman. I'm gonna say self-defense. You understand what I'm getting at? Because they're angry. I see their comments. Here. They want him there over and over. Look at the comments. They want the death penalty. Even though we've had our people as young as 12 years old being put in electric chairs and given lethal injections, even though it was later found out, or people knew from the jump that they didn't actually commit the crime. And we never got justice for that. We had a 12-year-old. But they're calling. They want the death penalty. These were the same people. I wonder, how do you think they responded with George Zimmerman years ago? And they were showing out. And this guy kept making the headlines. George Zimmerman kept taunting. I'm going to auction. They help him make money. They help George Zimmerman make money. This isn't something that happened in the 1950s. This was just a couple of years ago. This was just a couple of years ago, y'all. I remember they was coming to my channel, they was helping George Zimmerman, even though this man had multiple mugshots, had a history of being arrested, beating women. He was fired from a position as a bodyguard, or as a bouncer. They said he took a woman and threw her body across the room, and they had to fire his ass. But he became an honorary white man. They were making excuses. He felt this and that. I bet you these very same people in the comment section, to this day, George Zimmerman coming and going to the store, but they want the death penalty. They are outraged. You see, the hate you give, but yeah, so understand. Now, when I initially, I didn't know all the details about Austin Metcalf. I heard that he was like a jerk, a bully, but I didn't know all the details. Now, y'all were telling me certain things in the chat room, right? And now, Azure TV just shared this. I'm just looking at this now. Today. Now, I know y'all were posting this last time I talked about this. So let's say if it was premeditated. And I'm not saying that, you know, that's justified. Okay? Even if people are racist. But let's say if it was premeditated, why would he have targeted? And see, what I'm saying is the hate that white people give and spread to their children, okay, whether or not, even if I disagree with even if I'm, you know, whether or not I believe Karmelo Anthony committed a sinful act or not, it is expected that the hate that they promote in their culture, it is expected. Because from what I've picked up on and learned, Karmelo Anthony ain't no product of the ghetto. This ain't about Negro genes either. This ain't about primal instinct either. No, he's a product of your culture. He's a product of Gentile culture. He probably, let's say if he was thinking, well, I'm going to do exactly what Zimmerman did and claim self-defense. But, okay, this is being shared. Let me speed it up, make sure it's sped up just in case. Okay, yeah, I got it. Shared by Hype TV 2 days ago. Austin Metcalf exposed KKK threats and bullying history amid Karmelo Anthony retrial hearing.
In this motion for a new trial, the background reports are being released.
Oh wait. Well, I'm going to read because it's been denied, by the way. But let me go ahead and continue playing this. Press 1 if you're able to hear this when I'm sharing loud enough, clear enough.
And the defense is going first, releasing 20 pages now. The background report.
KKK, that has now been made to light.
In this motion for a new trial, the background reports are being released, and the defense is going first, releasing 20 pages now of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Karmelo.
Okay, I appreciate y'all press 1 if you got access to a keypad, just to let me know that y'all able to hear it, so I don't have to, you know. Yeah, if you got access to, just press 1, so I know that you can hear what I'm sharing with you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting anyone to respond. All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Releasing 20 pages now of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Karmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were...
So you hear that? So they actually do have, like, it's not just text messages with them. They actually do have some sort of arrest record, which can say that they are likely, this ain't just about text or what people, you know, claim, but they've actually taken action with these brothers.
Also learned new...
Also, me seeing these images makes a big difference. Because understand, like I said, the picture I kept seeing was a picture like this. This picture of this guy, which looked like no more than 15 years old. I'm seeing a rather small looking kid because this is the picture that they continuously show. Now, it shouldn't matter, right? Just like it shouldn't matter, you know. Remember how they were making that claim with Trayvon Martin? Oh, why they keep showing this picture of him? He's only 12 years old. Show how tall he was. Remember? I guess I see what they're saying. I guess I see what white people are saying. Because it makes a big difference I still can't find that one picture that was shared. But even with this picture here, it does look a little different. They know what they're doing with these reports. They know what they're doing. Because even with this picture, now you can't really see his size, but it was one picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy was way bigger than, but here's another one. The Bow brothers. Like, oh, okay. Because it was kind of hard to see bully, like as in physical bully. Because we're not just talking about bully like as in teasing, but, you know, was he a physical threat to Karmelo Anthony? That's what, and that I couldn't quite see. I couldn't see from what I was shown the physical threat that there was a need to, you know. If that's him on the left, right, he was taller than his dad, it appeared. We're going back to the video. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. I lost it. Hold on, I've lost the video. Okay, here we go.
Trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howell, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism. There are several..."
Yeah, it's just dumb stuff. So not only, you know, were they posting, no, it wasn't just racist stuff, like just posting KKK, but they're not only posting to, you know, racist stuff, but saying to and they're not even just posting, like, they didn't just post something individually to like one person. They're trying to incite people to unalive all blacks, not just certain, this person I don't like, but they're trying to influence people, readers, public, to unalive all blacks. Well, they felt, we're going to take this outside of just text messaging. We're going to make this public. We want this to be broadcast. And I believe that they said that this was the graffiti, the act of graffiti, that was not that long before this incident. So it makes me wonder, Karmelo Anthony, did he know about this? I'm still learning, y'all. So y'all inform me of what I don't know.
Documented instances.
How you doing? Warriors are the best.
Of Austin using racial slurs and did some dumb stuff. We did some 12 months, including KKK's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest.
So he actually has a record. This ain't even just about text. This ain't even just about, so he actually has where he's went there. It's not just a claim. It's not just a story time. So he has So I'm like, listen, like, damn, how do you within this your short life, within such a short period, do all this?
During an argument in 20, and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and
Okay, elementary school. Okay. Yeah, they looking at something that they said Carmelo Anthony is 6 or 7 years old, said he was gonna punch somebody or something.
assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument,
But they saying led to his arrest. What? Wait, that elementary school. Okay, I don't know. Can they arrest like elementary school? Like, what do they?
Yeah, in the suburbs, they'll arrest you no matter what age you is.
Huh.
Yeah, like
Okay.
if you get into a fight in the suburbs, you going to jail.
Well, I know out here, I know our school go up to 8th grade, so maybe I don't know.
In the suburbs, you can catch a case even in elementary school for fighting.
Okay. That's my daughter, yeah.
in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids. At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, behind our bench was talking wild, Austin reportedly replied, kill that MF. During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 revealed that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game.
5 times in 1 year in one little period? 5 times in one short period. He couldn't. Okay, so there had to been a little more under that tent. You can't tell me that it was just the thing of, can you please exit the tent? Can you please, oh man. Yeah, well, okay, but you listen to me earlier though, Warriors are the best, because I'm going to tell you, I don't care, the Warriors are the best. Yeah, I'm listening more to it. Yeah, but I still stand by what I say. I absolutely don't approve of those texts. But I'm just being honest with y'all, okay? So you say Austin got suspended from school every year for 8 straight years. Goodness, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's crazy.
On at least 5 occasions, Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth.
He couldn't control it.
2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
Goodness.
I mean, when was it going to stop? Suspended 7 years in a row?
Yeah.
Bullied?
Okay, all right. So, and then I see this video here where his dad, also from the Hype, shared by the Hype channel. But it's not just the reports that they're giving. The reports that they're sharing comes from quote unquote white media. So it's they're not just I'm not just sharing what the black folks are saying. These are the reports from their media sources. And in this case, just what's coming from his mouth. Now, this is the father. I understand you lose your child, you're going to be upset, But the way he doesn't even come off, if you notice, the father is not even saying this in a state of rage or in a, I don't know how I would be if I lost my, I don't even like saying it. But I'm just saying he's not It's not even coming off like some, he's saying and mourning or like in a rage, a fit of rage. He's like calmly sitting there and like he's been planning on saying this, like he wants to say a joke almost. Like this is some joke, like he's practiced in saying this.
People hang their hat on the dumbest I've ever seen. Let me make something racist up y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such a little boy I was trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you?
Okay. Yeah, and I'm little by little learning more about the dad and his family even before he lost his son. So this isn't just about the rage that he now has, an uncontrollable anger, or, uncontrollable emotions since losing his son. This is the way he's always been talking. And see, the way he's responding now, you can say watermelon felon thinking that you're hurting somebody. That is not going to bring back your son. And it's this kind of behavior. Let's say if this was premeditated. Let's say if Karmelo, he targeted him. He knew, let's say if it was premeditated. Let's say if he's like, you know what, I'm going to target this racist mofo. See, it's this kind of stuff. And see, because they do want to, white people are talking like they want this also to be seen as a hate crime. They want to believe also that he targeted Austin Metcalf because he was white. And let's say that is the case. Let's say if that was the case. You see, how is he trying to see? Because if you keep on, he'll end up, and especially if you have these sons that got these anger problems, even I'm assuming even with his own people, if there's been all this disciplinary action that have been taken against his son, so I'm assuming that he's also been harming other or fellow white kids have also been experiencing this anger and rage. It's going to end up being the same thing with this other son. See, this is the hate you gave. The hate you gave. Like I said, in the case of Karmelo, this ain't even while he's saying stuff. Karmelo Anthony, hold on, let me get a more accurate picture of them both. That's not a kid. He wasn't, what you usually think of when you think of the stereotypical black thug. I don't care, even showing him in a mugshot, showing him with his hair cut off. You can see, and from what I've seen, even with his body. Hold on. Let me find a more up-to-date picture. Some would say he was probably one of them nerdy types, right? Well, I guess let me share this picture. Now, y'all said he had 3.7 GPA. He wasn't the black person that y'all always talk about fearing, or the image that you always, or even the Pookie Ray or whatever stereotype. Probably obviously, I'm assuming he was intelligent, rather intelligent. Did y'all say somebody say he was pursuing a career in engineering? And he looked little, even though this guy's big as hell. He's not a product of this ain't about Negro primal genes. No, to me, he's a product of his whiter environment. He's a product of even, with the text messages. I'm going to look like what black kids, the ones y'all will stereotype as the thugs, what black kids in the hood talk like that? Text like that. That's that 4chan. But see, this is just following the ways, the Gentiles. The very thing that y'all, but I notice now more and more, because it used to be white people commit these acts and they seem like they get away with it. But now I'm like, every time I look up, oh, the person who did this happened to him. Like even in the case, now we ain't heard nothing yet with Zimmerman, but what was the one person that was mocking? Yeah, something really bad happened to him that was mocking. Remember the person that was the female that was supposedly, even though I question that was supposedly the one on the phone with Trayvon Martin, even though I question that. I had a little theory with that. And I really don't believe that there was a claim. Well, I talked about that years ago in a video, but it got removed. Not by me. But remember, he was calling her precious and stuff, and then something bad happened. And I'm noticing this more and more. And now, of course, I don't want to, especially, when I saw, it is kind of hard seeing him as a kid, the way I saw Austin Metcalf in the initial photos that they were, showing. Where I just saw like a 15-year-old kid, where it's looking at here and the way he's looking. And I understand he was still 17. He was still a child by law. But then after hearing all that and learning all that about him, he's looking very, very different. Now he is looking more like a Dylan Roof. But even with Dylan Roof didn't look, he was a scrawny little white kid. Just as what I see with Karmelo Anthony, he looked like a scrawny little black kid. And a lot of times, it'll be those ones. And see, this is just a product of, I don't want to say like Revenge of the Nerds, but see, this is a product of this society. This isn't a product of the ghetto. This ain't about his Negro genetics. This is a product of Gentile society. Y'all were celebrating, I'm telling you, y'all were, the way that they were supporting George Zimmerman. Warrior, chill out. The way that they were, hold on. Let me share with this. And just showing out. He just kept doing things, kept provoking, kept just doing little stuff, provoking. And they were supporting this. Even how much money was he able to make since this trial? White people supporting him. How much money was George Zimmerman able to make? And in this case, and y'all were claiming self-defense when that was the most ridiculous. He was told by the authorities. He was told, he was told by the authority to stop following him. Trayvon Martin was not thinking about him. He was not, and he's still walking the streets. And y'all helped him to get some money. And then you surprised this is going to eventually affect your children even. And listen to how the father is still talking. That's not helping his other son, Hunter. That's not helping him to heal. Because you can say watermelon felling can make out. That's not going to bring your son back. Oh, you hurt our feelings. What is that going to do? What's that going to do for you and your family? Well, I'm not talking to white folks on this, but yeah, but it was the way that they were just, he was told to stay his ass and nigga stop following him. This was a person. How many mug shots did this guy have? And he's still on the street, but they want to call for the death penalty. He took a 17-year-old child's life. Y'all still. So for all y'all talking about they want the death penalty and all of that, mug shots. He had about 5 of them. Mug shots. And even after he ended up beating up his ex-wife's daddy, they still was supporting his ass. This guy multiple times. Now there's certain, I still say, I wish that this not had happened and resulted. But I do know that the Most High calls and allows even certain things to happen. Like I used to just, it used to be kind of hard for me. Certain things in the scriptures were kind of hard for me to, digest. Like with, for instance, when, like even in the case, okay, we can use King Saul. He was supposed to destroy all the Amalekites. That meant everybody. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is what they were told. Yeah, the prophet, was it Samuel, gave King Saul at that time the instruction. No one was to be spared. No one, nothing was to be spared. But these were directions given directly from the Most High when we had prophets. And I used to be like, well, not everybody. But see, the Most High, of course, he would know. He would know that even like in the case of children, that they would, because these are things that he would foreknow, that they would eventually grow up in the things that we can't foresee. He does. Of course, the Most High does. And he knew that they would eventually avenge. It's still kind of hard for me to swallow as a woman, as a mother and all, but, and eventually, but Paul didn't do that. He was making negotiation deals, kind of like when you think of T'Challa's character in Black Panther, and ended up, the Amalekites, they ended up becoming, and I think even to this day, if I was to, who I suspect the Amalekite descendants today, even to this day, yeah. They have been a thorn in the side of Sh00ter, Now, certain things have been allowed to happen, even with our people. We have been given over to the hands of the Gentiles. But you got to understand, we've served our sentence. It also says, just like it said in Deuteronomy, how if we break the covenant, how we would go into captivity and all the things that would happen with us and for a certain period of time. And we would be basically given over to the Gentiles, who we want to be like. But it also says that those, just as we had to pay for our ancestors, it also says, at that time when, let's say the end of Esau, the end of the Gentile reign, that they would also pay. They would also. So a lot of the things that they think that they got away with, or they believe that, and that's what they're hoping for under this new presidency, and the South shall rise again. Kind of like they thinking that, they're gonna tickle it and making them little things make them feel that they're, and that's the thing, they're feeling powerful. That's why, that I'm gonna say watermelon felon. I'm gonna, it's pride before the fall. Pride comes before the fall. They're gonna see that, that time is up. And I'm not saying those who've done things in the past that they don't have their judgment. Their judgment may be in the afterlife. But Yeah, I couldn't believe it was so disgusting. That's another one of the reasons why I said I can't follow this stuff no more. It was so disgusting. I had to when I was covering the whole thing with Trayvon Martin, and that's what ticked it off with me and Tommy Sotomayor. Actually, not saying that I don't care about what he was saying, but they were telling me about Tommy for over a year, wanting me to respond. But it was after me seeing him on Trayvon because I was already dealing with white racist response. But it was after me seeing Tommy in his video where he had Trayvon Martin deceased, an image of him deceased. He had it as a thumbnail. Remember that picture of him laying in the grass with his, and Tommy had it as a thumbnail, and he was making, and was the trigger. Also, there was around the same time there was a bodybuilder, female bodybuilder that was actually the trigger, because it was like over a year that people were telling me. But understand, I had just came back to YouTube after taking a 3-month break because the whole thing with the Trayvon Martin got me so. I can't even tell y'all. Look on my channel. Oh gosh, I got all the videos now that I got my original channel back, but they're all like privatized. But hold on, all the well, these are, it was around this time. Yeah, so by 2013, I left. Okay, I was making all these videos, and I was okay. I had a series even. Look, look. I had a series. Zimmerman 2012, The Invisible Brothers, because it was why they were trying to push that whole Coney 2012, that mess, that scam or whatever. So I had my series Zimmerman 2012. And so I was so that I had to. I said, let me just. And the responses, I was getting so angry, so I had to leave YouTube for 3 months. It had me so drained. I was so enraged. And I come back, and now it's not white racist, but it's this black mouthpiece, Tommy. But anyways, and don't think he ain't gonna get his. And it made it easier for them. They were able to find. That's when Tommy also, I think, they needed him to shift from just focusing on black women, and because so he was saying all that they wanted to say, so to make it easier for whites and their racism. So he would use an excuse, whereas before he was more focused on black women. I want to highlight that comment, but so it was like a whole other chapter. I had to seriously leave because But wait, if I could maybe take one of these videos off private, let me see if I could see. Hey, you see, where's the blood? Where I was going crazy. See, maybe if I could see, take it off private for a minute. But as soon as I got this channel back, they were coming after all these videos. So I just went on privatize everything. Let me just see if I could see some of the comments and just how people were responding, whether it was in video. But then they were able to sit back and chill because now they got Tommy. Because before they were speaking for themselves, right? But now they got Tommy. Hold on, it says private. Oh, I just made it public for a second.
But now let's talk about this.
Hold on, I'm trying to. I thought I just made it. I gotta hit save. I'm trying to see if.
But now let's talk about this.
Okay. Let me see. I want to see if I can still see. Okay, it ain't as many with this video. Just 17 comments. I might have removed him now. Seems your video is outdated and they showed picture his face and blood, etc. I say watch out. The liberal media puts out there. Because you got to understand, I had to deal with a lot of white racists. Lashid, for you, once again, his past is not relevant to the actual event in the present. And mere fact that you would shame those whom use Trayvon's past in the same light, yet you turn around and do it to Zimmerman. Shows your hypocrisy. He's entitled to due process. These are just some of the, this is nothing. Wait, who's this? This must have been somebody removed because somebody put to this person, you are a bitch and man for coming at this woman like that. So you can tell the comments, because this was back then, before all the little censoring. So for somebody to lead this post defending me, saying you coming at, can you imagine how the white racist was coming at me? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the threats and stuff I was even getting? So it must be a comment I removed right here. It says you are a bitch and man for, bitch ass man, I guess they meant it, for coming at this woman like that. It says a lot about you, man. Stupid. Yeah, back then you could leave all kind of cuss words and stuff. Oh, but so I mean, maybe I'll remove the comment. Zimmerman was defending himself after being assaulted by a thug. Martin got what he deserved. You see how the comments were? You see how they was talking back then? This is, from the video I did. I did quite a few of them. I just I can't, you know me, I put a lot of research into everything. Put a lot of research into, And so, I responded, where's the... But they were, hold on. Oh, goodness. Let me see. What was it that I shared?
Court documents obtained by MSNBC.com show that George Zimmerman, who fatally shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, went to court in 2005 and 2006 for accusations of domestic violence, tussling with an officer.
This guy was even tussling with an officer. I can't remember it all back then, but... oh, they were hating. So I did a series of videos. I believe it's like a 5-part series, even though I don't see it all uploaded. Zimmerman 2012, The Invisible Brothers. I even had a thing that could decipher, it was some sort of software or something, some program. So I was like, really? But I had to take a break. I had to take a break. I had to take a break.
Separate police department.
I had to take a break. Let me see. I'm trying to.
Walking around the club. What is your fortune? That's the club.
Now this is the
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm just skimming through.
suburb where he was visiting.
Man, he had a rap sheet and then some. And then some. And I was putting out all the information. He had got fired from a position as like a party bouncer. They said he took this woman's body and threw her across the room. And a lot of people also don't know. Now, it's been years ago since I covered this because I was putting it all out there. And so they were hating me and they were hating my channel for that. And they needed somebody. They needed Tommy. Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that before that altercation or before the tragic incident, his wife had put him out. See, his wife, she stayed hush. She stood by her man. But see, his wife had put him out. Like the night before Pride, they had got into it. Also, there was stuff in Zimmerman's system. Oh, there was a lot I had uncovered. So they was really coming at my channel. Next thing you know, I leave for 3 months, come back. Wow, they got Tommy to say everything for them. There was no need for them to troll me and say what they had, because they had Tommy now. They got Tommy. He was saying everything. See, I saw how they were responding. How they were responding years ago. And see, what's this? Oh, goodness. Another one on the exoticals. Oh, goodness. Oh, wait. Y'all not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm at my video. I'm like, what's this over here on the side? Another one on the, oh, gosh, on the exoticals. I need to laugh, y'all. I'm kind of, yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish you had even shared that video with me on Sh00ter TV. Like, damn. Now I got me like, yeah, but you do understand. Like I said, this is initial, because I was doing my best to avoid learning the details of this. This is basically how I initially heard it with the whole thing with the Metcalf. And this ain't, no joking situation. Oh, good. Why can't I see my mouse or my cursor? Oh, okay. So understand, because I was trying to avoid this. This is just how I heard it.
Anthony was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see what happens. Metcalf.
And also, this happening at school, where I supposedly not a dangerous set, because I'm trying to, I didn't hear anything that was life-threatening. Understand?
Anthony was told to move, and then he reached into his bag and said, quote, touch me and see what happens. Metcalf then touched Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony then, according to a witness, says, quote, punch me and see what happens. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony again, and that is when witnesses say that Anthony took a knife out of that backpack and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. Austin then grabbed his chest and called for help. He would die in his twin brother's arms. Anthony was told to move.
Okay, and then, and what's the, now that's how I basically heard it. And this is the picture I saw of the person. This is the, or these were the pictures that I saw. I saw a kid, so I'm seeing children. That's all that I saw. I'm like, this, and I still feel, right. Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay. But it does make it a little different. Hearing all, learning a little more, and also, seeing this picture does make a difference. But I still say that because I don't like the idea, somebody, especially if this person was to be an engineer and if they were, highly intelligent. But, this is a product of this, society. Karmelo and Anthony, he's not a product of the ghetto. And this show ain't about no genetics. He is a product of this Western, this society. This 4chan. He's a product of this. He's a product of this society. Self-defense, right? He's a product of this society, y'all. Right. I'm seeing, exactly. I'm seeing Bobby Brady. I'm seeing Peter Brady. Thank you. Right. They do what they were doing. So I'm like, I couldn't see, threat. I'm seeing a white kid. But yeah, Dylan Roof was a little scrawny white boy. But I'm seeing, and he's got a little smile on his face. And so I just, do understand. Thank you. But now he's a product, both of them, they are a product of this society. The society where y'all cheer on people who want to claim self-defense. But now y'all want to talk about, y'all Y'all think that 35 years is not enough after hearing the text messages. He should get the death penalty. Okay. Yeah, keep having that, and you keep on. Keep on. See, and this is not saying that this is what I want or even encouraging, but this is what's going to happen. When you look at how the father is responding, this ain't a response of this ain't a response of grieving my son. This seemed like he practiced saying this. This is like he practiced with, watermelon filling. This don't seem like a response when just somebody real angry, really emotional. This sound like he practiced saying this. This sound like he wants to get thumbs up in the internet. He wants high fives. That's what this sound like. This don't sound like a grieving father. This sound like somebody who wants to get high fives from fellow white men.
I was trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike yet?
See, and it's that kind of. And so he's not helping his other son or his family to heal. He's not. Yeah, he's looking right. See, and y'all keep on, and see, it's sad to say, but it'll end up being more. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, But they think they're winning. They want to be able to say the N-word. Okay, you'll be able to say the N-word again. Nobody ever stopped you. You were never stopped. You never actually stopped. You just want to say it in public platforms and feel free in saying it. Yeah, you will, but you're going to see. You're going to see, because it's that time of, it's that time of the downfall. There is no GI Bill. There is nothing now. Okay? You already feel like you're losing Europe. Trying to, with propaganda of return of the Moors, or who knows, it may end up happening. So yeah, you'll be able to say the N-word all you want. But you will not be winning. The days of the conquering and conquistadors and all that, that's over. That's over. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like he want to be right, exactly. Like he want to be a conservative influence. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what, there's some people who question this whole incident as a stage. I don't know what to believe, but I'm just going along, Yeah, I have seen, certain sites, like some people believe that this whole, I don't know what to believe. But it doesn't surprise me though. And you see, he still got that pride. He still got yes, even with all that, with you just got your sons with guns and all this stuff, you don't know that wasn't, and they feel that they can get that. Because for one, you are not going to be able to bypass no matter what y'all think y'all got, if it's the will of the Most High. Also, he was a twin. The boy was, yeah. Oops. I don't know if y'all see this. I didn't mean to download this picture. So this is the GoFundMe that his dad raised using this. They're saying that this coming from the GoFundMe. Y'all see this picture here? I can't. I tried to upload it, but it just downloaded. Is this really the picture that he's using for his child's GoFundMe? Seriously? I tried to open this photo. It says fundraiser by Metcalf. Yeah, they just, when I tried to click on it, really, this is the picture he chose for the GoFundMe. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all. a picture of him having and his sons holding guns and stuff. And there's quite a few of these. These are all the same. I think I heard they say there's one with Karmelo with a BB gun or something, but this the same family here? Wow. They need to watch out this family though. And even before this incident happened, hey, how you doing, Reed? Oh yeah, I'm at the end of this stream, but man, the timing ain't right with this one. Yeah, because I did some streams hoping that you'd hoping you come through. But the timing, so I'll just wait for the next one. Yeah, let's stick to the topic here. I found, yeah. Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah, like, wow, I didn't know all this. I mean, I think, which I was, I ain't know like this. This is, and to know that he was disciplined like 5 times. I'm just looking at, okay, well, let me go and get out of here though. Yes, I was about to close down anyway. But, mother's, wow, the mother's divorced from the father and he is a woman beater. Wow. They were trying to, Karmelo Anthony. Okay, yeah, I'm reading, I'm going back. Well, I'm gonna leave this up so I can go back and scroll through y'all comments. I'm gonna try to come back. Yeah, but let me go and get out of here. Okay, then y'all. I'm gonna get back with y'all later. Also, Reef, I want to speak with you, but this ain't the time, especially what I'm talking about now. In regards to what happened with the chat room and it was back and forth and stuff. But so yes, and you have a good day. Y'all all have a good day as well. It's just the timing, it's not good now. So okay, so y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Much peace. Yeah, and like I said, like I just gotta say this. They have to understand, like, we've served our time. And this is a result. This is a result of, like I said, Karmelo Anthony. This is not, no kids in the hood talk like that in text messages. See, he's not a result of the ghetto. He's not a result of Negro genetics. He's not a result of, he's not this black brute stereotype that they try to, This is a result of that Western world society. He is a part of the George Zimmerman supporting culture. See, it's not going to be those even who you perceive as pro-black. Yeah, so I'll get back with y'all later. Much peace. Yeah, but okay, but I gotta say this. I had addressed Fran, I had addressed Fran, and it ended up with, but you weren't here. I even let her come up on the panel. I had addressed Fran, and I have been accused of not addressing you. So I asked, okay, also being that Azure was on the panel, and being that now when I allow for someone to come up on the panel, I just ask, I understand you can disagree with what is said. You can disagree with what is said, but I ask that you respect, like when people are on the panel, you respect that I'm allowing them to be on the panel. I mean, I don't want to be questioned on who I have on the panel. And I ask, so I ask that you respect, like when people are on the panel. No, I didn't really see with the altercation with you and Fran Brown. I didn't see where you had necessarily said anything wrong. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. I keep being told that, see, and this is the thing. I'm being told that, well, I'm allowing you to disrespect people, and I say nothing to you, and this is what I'm being told. So, in all fairness, I'm saying, this is kind of awkward now with me talking on this. I'm just going to say, let me just say this in general. Like, okay, we still should stay on code. We are gonna disagree. There's certain people I don't expect y'all to like. We don't expect, like, I know that you're not gonna agree with me on my stance when it comes to my spirituality. I know that there are things that we gonna bump heads on, that we are not gonna, we may not ever be on the same page on. And I know that there are certain people that they ain't gonna like each other. That happened to come to my channel. I can't speak for other people, but like, I'm just speaking for my channel. But I just ask that we be respectful. We have a right. I don't want people to be like just parrots and echo chambers up in here. I'm not a cult leader or anything like that. This isn't a cult. And I like that y'all give me, I'm not saying that I want resistance, of course not. But I don't want people rebelling just for the sake of rebelling, or just disagreeing with me just for the sake of disagreeing with me or countering what I have to say. Okay? But so, disagree with me and others on the panel and in the chat room, but do it respectfully. And, if we could stay on point. But when if there's comments being made just because you don't like that person. And understand, trust me, even I got on private, or trust me, I talked with Fran and we actually got kind of heated. But in all fairness, I'm addressing you. Yeah, you have been, and I stress that you have been respectful to me. No, and I don't expect you or anybody else to be bullied up in here. I'm not expecting that. I'm just saying, so I'm trying to be fair. I'm not going to act like I don't have a bias when it comes to certain opinion on certain subjects. I definitely have a bias when it comes to certain subjects. Anybody can, but I do care for y'all. I know it's like I don't know y'all personally, but I do care for y'all on the same. I do appreciate y'all on the same level. Now, when it comes to certain subjects, yes, I have a bias. And as I explain that, and like Fran, she knows that I have a bias. Like on the subject of colorism, for instance, yeah, I am going to be more likely to agree with you. And what in your opinion when it comes to colorism. And but what I'm saying, because yeah, also like I know there's certain people that you don't like and they don't like you and y'all not cool with each other, y'all got each other blocked or whatever. But like if they come on my panel, I just ask that you just respect that. There's no need to say like what's this person doing on here or you shouldn't trust this person. And honestly, like if you tell me one time, let's say if you all right? Then just say, hey, yo, you already told me. You already, let's say, warned me. In other words, there's no need. In other words, what I'm saying is there's no need to say it again. And the same for anybody else. Yeah, I was told to look through the comments, and I went back and I looked through the comments, and I did address it. I was hoping that you'd come through. I kind of addressed it twice. Another reason I'm putting certain things on private, because I see that there are people, and I'm not, who are just, they watching and not trying to send a bat signal. But see, like I said, I'm not going to get rid of you, and I'm not going to get rid of that person. Because I don't see nothing that's been done on either side that I got to, react in such a manner. So I don't mean to, I didn't mean to, so I'm just getting this up, so there's no need for me to even address this again. Okay, well, I'm just saying, so it can be said. It can be said. So I'm not saying that you can't speak your mind. Like, let's say even if somebody's on my panel and you disagree with them. That's what we do these panels for, sharing our opinions. And I'm one, if I'm wrong about something, I need to be corrected if I am actually wrong. Or in some cases, I want to hear a differing opinion. I like the fact that we're not, now there's a certain point, like I'm not going to, if you're just straight up, let's say promoting something that goes against my spiritual beliefs, or like if somebody's straight talking Satanism and trying to get me to push the idea on me of things I absolutely will not follow, and they're trying to push that idea on me, yeah, that's where I do have to cut off and block. And usually when I do, let's say, block people like in the chat, when these are people that I don't know. But being that I'm talking to those of you who have been, rocking with my channel for a minute, these like FBA trolls and stuff, bye. I'm not even, yeah. Okay, I can't remember exactly what you saying with Shorty. See, this is the thing. I hear like from this person that I'm not, like I've been Q said, I never say nothing to you. And I'm like, that's not true. You know that you and I have bumped heads. I can't quite remember what you said with Shorty now. That's another thing. Yeah, I'm not saying, okay, I'm gonna disagree with you, that of voodoo, but I'm just saying, I'm just speaking in general. Now you know what I'm gonna say on that. So I disagree. But I like for us to be able to disagree and move on. I'm just saying, considering it's still my channel, and if it's just okay, like in the case of Psychopathist, who, and I've already knew, I can't front as if I didn't know he was an atheist. I can't front. He let that be known to me up front. But I still chose to follow his channel. But it did get to a point where he said something that I felt was really, really like blasphemous. And I just said, now I could have, now there were times that I would be posting stuff in the chat room and trying to, counter some of the stuff he and people, from his channel would be saying against the Bible. There would be times I used to, try to counter the comment, but then it just got to a point, what? It's his channel. I can't. That's when it got to that point with me. And so I just, being that I still, got love for him, respect him, and I can't say that he's actually otherwise disrespected me. Well, I mean, I know there are those who say I should take it as a disrespect, but that's his channel. So I've just decided, I can't be in that chat room no more. And being that, it's also because, with me, I just said I can't, listen because I know that I would be posting things where we'd end up being in an argument, where I could just come over here and just, if it's that serious, just make a video of my own, countering, let's say, claims that is made over there. You know what I'm saying? And I told friend the same thing, like on the subject of colorism. And, actually we got into something that got kind of heated. But this ain't the first time with Fran and I, but, but we gave it closure in the end. Because, I didn't really see what was, with the colorism thing. I felt it was something a little more personal. But, so, yeah, it's obvious I have a bias, but the thing is that I do still respect you and I respect her. Or should I say, I appreciate you and I appreciate her. Oh, good. Now, why you bring? I don't even know. I don't even recall with Shorty now. Now, let's not bring another person in it. No, Shorty ain't. I can't even recall. Shorty didn't say anything to me in regards to you. I can't even recall with yourself and Shorty. I don't even recall that. And I'm being honest. I'm not lying. I don't even really recall that. You saying I took Shorty's side, but yeah, that what you gotta say. See, I'm hearing, and I'm hearing from other people that that's what I'm doing with you. That's what they're telling me. Okay, okay. You saying that was years ago? Okay, it may be something that goes way even, goes back. I can't recall. I don't know exactly. And trust me, it is not a thing of me pretending to not know. Now I do know why you may get some people, because there was a person who happened to be biracial who also was talking. They didn't, felt like, so I know what that's about. But if there's something else with the choice, yeah, and you saying it's something from years ago, I'm trying to recall. But then again, I don't want to recall. So I'm just saying, let's just, because I said I would direct. Okay, I had a stream. I was hoping that you come through. You didn't, so I just, and being that you don't have like a channel like that. What you saying? What was Jennifer Hudson the topic? Or we were talking about roasting. Now I know I did do a video on roasting, and I remember something heating got happened. But let's not. Oh goodness, let's not bring up. Yeah, and it's good if I don't remember it good. I do recall a stream we did. We talked about roasting a guy, but I don't recall you being involved in that. Yeah, that's the thing. I bump head. There's times like even with my friends. And I'm not expecting, oh, let's all be friends. No, I'm not even going to try to force that. Yeah, I'm reading your comments and I'm gonna go back and read what I may not have read. So that's all I'm saying. So I have addressed you. I've definitely addressed, in fact, she came up on the panel. And But this is all I'm gonna say. So, yeah. So even if you have certain people blocked, they may come up on my panel where you have no choice but to hear their opinion. So they may say some things that you disagree with. It's expected. I'm not gonna say, oh, you shouldn't post if you disagree with them. All I'm saying is don't just post out of respect for me and my channel at least, and being that this is my friend, or I ask that you just, even if you don't like that person, okay, if you disagree with what they say, okay, but out of respect for my channel, still, there's no need to comment. Why is he here or anything? I'm not saying that that's what you posted. I'm not saying it. I'm just using that as an example. And even if you're telling me something that you feel that I should hear, like, oh, I wouldn't trust him or something like that, okay, you can say that you already told me once, right? Also, just give into consideration, like even when we're talking about colorism, now I tend to agree with you, and definitely, I definitely tend to agree with you and lean more towards, what you're saying on colorism. Because like I said, I didn't see what you said. I didn't see you as saying anything wrong. And that's what I had said. However, I'm going to just say to you, um, there are some people that we know are full of crap, or they're just, but there are those who have had things to happen to them. I'm not saying that you got to cater, baby. All I'm just saying, just consideration. There are some people. This is a sensitive subject, so maybe we be considerate in how we discuss it, and now I'm gonna still have my stance, but I do try to. That's why there's times where I've stopped and said, okay, I'm sorry, realizing that now I may not myself have had a personal traumatic experience in relation to like colorism. But I have to consider that there are others who have. And particularly and these people being, like a person who I am talking with about this. So I do give that consideration. It's not about me being scared, but it's about me to say what I feel, but it's about me being considerate. So, like their thing, like when I said, oh, the light skinned people I know, shit, they wouldn't let that happen. Or I said something like that. And then it was revealed to me that somebody did have something very bad to happen to someone close to them, you know, and then it made me like, oh man, let me, yeah, because then they could be taking that as me saying, oh, only a weak person, like I wouldn't want to hear somebody saying, oh, considering that I'm a survivor myself, I wouldn't want to hear somebody saying, well, only weak women allow that to, not allow themselves to be, like what happened to me. I know that would hurt me. I know when I just heard, I know how I was hurt one time listening to Crystal Cares, and I had peeked into one of her uh, listening in, and she had, it was years ago with the Brooklyn Saint, or Kendall St. James. Well, it was a Brooklyn Blue. It wasn't so much with Crystal, it was that person. She had said something, I bet you these black women that be defending black men, she went into talking about, I bet you they were victims of RAPE, and they were this and that, and they were beating it. And it was the way she said it. Now some could say she ain't saying this, she was making a point about Stockholm syndrome, but it's the way she was. I was really hurt by that, hearing that. It hurt me personally. That, so I kind of, it almost like, had me feeling like what if I am like, just a fool, or, and I was like, wait a minute, no. So I came back, and I have 4 brothers that I love very much. And so I did a video, and, I turned it around. But it had really hurt me hearing her. I don't know. she didn't even know I exist. They didn't even know I was kind of lurking, but I just heard that, people in their little discussion. And it just, the way that she said it, even though people saying, well, no, she wasn't taking a jab. She was making a point on, no, but the way she said it, I could tell that she was a person who I've never had that to happen to them. It was very cold. And I know how I felt. Regardless of what she meant, I know how I felt. And I could tell that she is a person who actually never had something like that happen to her. And so I had to consider that with my comment, in regards to, yeah, I'm just saying, just want us to be, so, when I stopped, it kind of took her talking to me on something personal, friend. Yeah, and I could tell when somebody's telling. I can tell when somebody's lying and when it's real. I can, at least with that, I could tell when, okay, this is something really, really happened. I can tell when it's a story time, when it's a lie, or when somebody's exaggerating, and when it's something that's really. So I had to get that consideration, even though I know I didn't mean it like that when I said what I said. It was me responding to this idea that, because the way they make it seem like light skinned people are so weak, and I don't know, like because or like the way they were talking, like we can't walk down the street like a dark skinned, like I said, like there's a dark skinned female and somebody waiting in the bushes to jump out and slice our face, cut a ponytail, something like the way that they were sounding. And even in talking about the males, and I was also thinking males and I was like, and I was serious. I was just talking about people I do personally, like thinking of girls, not just even in the group of, like I no girls, like you come up on them and you thinking you could just, like, even with that beauty salon thing that they shared with the biracial, like people I knew, ain't no way you would have been up in there. I'm talking even with the mixed females I knew. But that could be taken as me saying that only like let's say a situation where, let's say, a person is attacked, like that only happened to you because you're weak, and that's not what I was meaning. But I can understand somebody hear it like that. So I'm just saying, just in consideration, I know what I'm saying, and I know what I meant when I was saying, and I was just thinking of people I personally know. Not saying that I know, it ain't even about being thugged out. I'm just saying the way, and I do still believe that some people are exaggerating certain things, but some people actually have, like you did have. There was a person who was part of that community that or Golden Sphere affiliate that, a male who actually was attacked, and I can tell that really did happen with him. There are some people, I think they're kind of living vicariously through these individuals. They're using and they're not even because they care about that individual. Yeah, they do. But yeah, but I hear you. I'm just saying, yeah, that is true. That sometimes there is some people, they just uncomfortable with somebody. If they're just telling the truth, or they're just being blunt, or just telling it like it is, and they're not holding back. All I'm saying is give consideration. Now, I'm not saying, because like I said, I didn't disagree with what you were saying. When I look back, like in regards to colorism, I didn't disagree with what you were saying. But I'm just saying, even with what we say, just in giving consideration. And that's how I'm going to just leave it like that. And also, and I said the same thing to her, like, if you're just attacked because you don't like this person and you're saying things, like, look, something that's snarky or why is this person here, when that's not addressing the subject or what's said. It's one thing to disagree with a person, but it's another if you just say something because you don't like that person. Understand, read. Understand, trust me. With that, you didn't see a live stream, but trust me, we definitely clashed, Fran and I. We definitely clashed. It was seen as me defending you, but I'm being, in all fairness, I'm just also addressing you. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. There's no need to even bring this up. There's no need to even bring this up. I say what I say, but if I do see something where, somebody, I'm gonna just delete the comment, and if it continues, I'm out to, much as I wouldn't want to do that. But it's one thing, I'm not saying that I have, and that's to anybody. You can disagree. Now, there's certain people right off the bat. If I ain't familiar with your channel and you come up in here, because I know how, like, for instance, with the FBA bots, they like to spam your comment section. Or if I just detect you just like damn racist or something, and I don't know your username, then yeah, I'm going to get your ass to exit. I used to be all, but no, I'm not wasting time. Because there are some people just want to flood and it just causes a distraction and flood your comment section and all of that. But, if I'm familiar with you to some degree, yeah, I expect you to, I don't want it to just be no echo chamber like it's some cult up in here. I'm not Exoticals United. Okay? I'm not expecting, or, this ain't, an FBA channel. I'm Black American, quote unquote, but this ain't one of these, where I expect everybody to, and if you just say one thing, like a person said in the comment on Exotic, she just said that she felt that Kelly Rowland was prettier. That's enough for Exoticals United to delete your comment. Like, it's that serious? No. I expect people to disagree, and like I said, but that's another thing too. Don't just be disagreeing with me or others for the sake of disagreeing. Because some people, they do they just counter for the sake of countering. Like, there's a certain person who's manosphere adjacent, who is always known for doing that. Just always just wanting to counter and disagree, and for the sake of disagreeing. Garwin knows a person named Nappy Rhino. He used to always do that. Yeah. Just so they could be seen as an individual, I guess, or just not following. They were trying so hard to prove that they got their own opinion. That can get annoying. That's just as annoying. To me, that's just as annoying, equally as annoying as a person who just agreed with everything the popular crowd say. There's, the rebels without a cause. If you say the sky is blue, they're going to tell you the sky is green. Or the sky is gray. And if you say, you know what, maybe you're right. I think you're right. The sky is kind of more gray. And they're like, nah, actually it is blue. Those type of people. They can be, I've seen people like that. I've been in, people like that. That is just as annoying. I don't know why they feel themselves as, they're those people always trying to prove that they're different or they got their own, or they just want to argue or whatever. I got a foundational bot in Americans. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at and what, but I'm kind of sitting back though while I'm talking. But and what I do miss, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, but trust me. Trust me. I've addressed the other side, if you will. I've addressed, trust me. All I'm saying is, okay, if you disagree with the person, disagree with what they're saying. And there's a way it can be done where it's respectful and considerate. Even if you don't consider that person, at least if we cool with each other, consider me. And consider that I'm asking. That's why I'm not just saying that to you. I'm saying that to everybody that's a participant. Okay? Disagree with the subject, but no one should be questioned. Like if I allowed them on the panel, no one should be questioned. No one should be, on their presence on the channel or anything like that. So, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me close out. Yeah. And know that I do appreciate you. Trust me. I appreciate as long as people, we ain't got to be on the exact, but at least as long as you hear me though. Like what was the song? They don't hear me though. As long as you hear me though, to some degree. Now, yeah, it may be a point where I have to become, like when it comes to my spirituality, where I have to become like, if y'all willing, if I go so far in my learning and in my growth spiritually, I may have to where I just like, straight up be ye separate. But I can't say I'm at that point. And that's difficult. There's people, I want to say things, give my opinions on different faiths and religions, and there's certain people who, let's say, like for instance, I have, a brother and sister who I'm very, very much respect up in here. New Possibilities, for instance, and Sister Radical. I have my opinions on the origin of Islam. I know that I may have to go there, and I've been afraid of that because, and the fear. Even though I know I'm supposed to be fearing the Most High Yah first, but I do have. I'd be lying and saying I don't have a fear of like offending them, being that I have such respect for them. But I know that I'm supposed to be fearing the Most High Yahuwah first, So I know that this is expected. I thought that I was going to lose a lot of people from this channel when I just started talking about the Bible. Period. That's what I was expecting. So. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but the thing is, okay, understand. You've already told me, okay, you've already let me know this. So there's no need for this to be repeated. You've already let me know. Just as they've already said what they had to say. And you've already let me know. So from then on, that's on me. There's no need to repeat it again out of consideration. So I'm going to just end it on that. So I don't even want these other people, they shouldn't even be brought up to y'all. I don't want to hear, no lit jabs either way. Now, if you disagree with the talking points that are being made, then yeah, disagree with the talking points. Or disagree with the subject. You understand? Disagree with the opinion in regards to the subject. But there's no need for sarcasm and snarky comments or anything like that. Or even questioning the person's presence on my channel. That's all. All right. We're going to end it on that note. Again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you all. Love y'all. I do see you as family, even though we don't know each other personally, but I see you as family. And you guys have been definitely, over the years, helping me through a lot. Okay? I've been through a lot of things, and I'm going way back to the message forum days. And y'all have been helping me through a lot, allowing me to release stress, share my opinion. I don't know how y'all do it, listening to me for hours. I don't know how you do it, but know all that I do appreciate you. And it's, believe it or not, through a lot of things. These are the wonderful things about social media. Just the fact, even when you don't agree with me, but the fact you hear me though, that's all I want. And as long as, and what I really appreciate is when I think people see my intentions, even if they don't totally agree with me, as long as I think at least you're trying to listen and you're trying to hear me. That's all. So Y'all, peace, love, so much love. Thank you so much for joining. Peace, family.